What have you become? A vampire, Hula! You've become a vampire, obviously. Hello and welcome to my Let's Play of Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Ha 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 ha. One tabletop game. Ha 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 ha. Two tabletop games. No, this is a visual novel. Oh, I ruined the joke. Yeah. This is my first visual novel Let's Play, and actually my first visual novel full stop. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait because sexy vampires, I think it will be very cheesy, so I will probably make a little bit fun of that. But yeah, the Vampire the Masquerade, I did a little bit research because I'm not well versed in this kind of stuff, so I'm not really into tabletop games, but Vampire Masquerade was a very popular, and still is, tabletop game released in 1991, created by Mark Reinhagen, and inspired by, of course, The Lost Boys, but also writings from Joseph Campbell, who, if I recall correctly, is a really cool mixture between Clive Barker and Lovecraft. Because I think I have a short story collection of him, and it's really entertaining. So yeah. And this game is done by the Polish game studio Draw Distance. They kept very close to the source material, but they left out a few things that are usual done for RPG tabletop games, like stats and leveling up, because they said they wanted to focus on the story and the characters, which I think is cool. So it ended up being a visual novel. They worked together with, let's look, Modifius Entertainment, who actually do tabletop games. So, and they worked with the source book New York by Night from the Vampire the Masquerade franchise. I don't know. So it hopefully is close enough to the source for everyone who watches this and who knows the tabletop game. I'm a total newbie, so I won't complain that something is not, you know, true to the source material, and I don't really care. But if you do, I hope Draw Distance did it justice. Yeah, I already tested it and forgot to record my voice, so that's why we do this again. So we have three clans: the Bruja, the Rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight, which would be me, I guess. In a look that can only be described as, I don't know, weird early 2000s emo. Ventru, the aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty. Damn, I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. And control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. She looks mostly like I do when I have short hair, although a lot prettier. But I can't go with the aristocrats. I'm sorry, I can't. No. Toreador. The divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amid stagnant undeath. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. I can't. No. Tormented artists are the worst. So we'll go with the Bruja. Yeah. Let's rebel. Rebel. Accept. Let's go! New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit, that we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th-generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. Ooh, I'm an apex predator. Ho ho. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying, "You're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns." It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret their teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys and me just an amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day off some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of a society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York. And I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. Oh, the music is pounding and your pulse is keeping pace. This is one of those nights that make you feel alive, even though it started with you feeling Sorry, that's so cheesy. Oh my god. Okay, well, even though it started with you feeling dead. First came the messy breakup, then the realization you have nobody to talk to about how much it's... Is this how it's going to be? Oh damn, that will be fun. How much it sucked. Still, you decided to roll with the punches. One Facebook search for local events later and you found just the thing for your malaise. A short subway ride and you find yourself at the club just outside Dumbo. Not a fancy one, mind you. Not a fancy one, mind you. More like a slightly refurbished warehouse. But hey, at least the drinks are cheap. The DJ seems to really know his shit too, alternating between cutting-edge industrial techno and classic Detroit crowd pleasers, expertly feeling out everyone's mood. An hour passes, then 2. Usually you'd feel awkward coming to a place like this alone, but tonight you find something soothing in joining the crowd, blending in even as you allow the beat to take over. Sweat, yours, other people's, soaks through your shirt and pants in a matter of minutes. Could have lived without the pants, to be quite honest. A thought pops into your head. From the outside, the fully packed club must seem like a stuffy, smelly nightmare. But here, in the thick of it, it becomes exhilarating. I think it's still a stuffy, smelly nightmare, especially inside. And you're not even on a pill tonight. There's this Latina chick whose curves are accentuated by the light dress clinging to her body, and she keeps bumping into you. Something tells you it only seems incidental. I hope this is not too racist, by the way. Yeah, it's a good night. You wish it could last forever, because you know all too well what the next day holds. Waking up, getting dressed for work, the commute, the 9-to-5 grind that will make you just enough money to pay the rent and keep living in your overpriced shithole of an apartment. Oh, I'm not the Apex? Was that someone else? And with Jessica moving out, it'll all... I'm still human? It'll all be coming out of your pocket. You run some quick calculations in your head and immediately come to regret that you did. Never mind. You spot the Latina again. She's now next to another guy, hitting it off. Your chance of not going to bed alone. Gone. Just like that. Fuck. Your mood temporarily shut down, you leave the dance floor and stumble your way to the filthy bathroom. You take a look in the mirror and start to wash your face. Obsessively. Over and over again. A voice from the past echoes in your mind. I've never felt like this with anyone. Seriously, I mean it. I feel like all of my relationships up to this point were test runs. A shitty way to compensate for my low self-esteem. Jessica looks like Uma Thurman. Just saying. But this feels right. Finally. Shut up, Jess. Damn. This was the craziest fucking day of my life. God, I need a smoke. Pass me a light. What do you mean, cops took the lighter? There's one in your mouth. What? Just shut the hell up. This is not you, not anymore. Oh, fuck off. This is so like you. Acting like some sort of Clint Eastwood wannabe when I really, really need you to open up. You think you're impressing people with this tough guy act? Fuck you, I know how broken you really are. You need therapy. Yeah, now that sounds like the Jessica of today. You raise your head and look in the mirror. You try to smile, but all you can muster is a self-pitying grin. And there she is. The Latina from before. Well, hello. She says you look like you need a drink. You hesitate for a second or two and then blurt out a surprisingly enthusiastic, yeah! You start to talk. It quickly becomes evident that she's into politics. Ooh. Ooh. And you are eager to please. You might be a corporate droll, but you spend a lot of evenings reading theory, actual theory, not bastardized Twitter cliff notes, and organizing for all manners of causes online. I doubt that, to be quite honest. The status quo sucks. There must be something better. She agrees. You seem to subscribe to the same progressive political theories, have compatible ideas about the DSA's missteps, even watch the same YouTube channels. Oh, Twitter cliff notes are bad, but YouTube channels are totally it. Your goals are aligned. She's a bit more radical than you'd have guessed. You attended a few rallies, been to a few protests, but this girl sounds like she broke her share of faces and kicked more than a couple of cops in the nuts over the course of her activist career. Her zeal is infectious. She taps into pent-up anger that you didn't know you had. The noisy club stops working for you both, so you hit the streets. Just as you're leaving, the DJ starts playing All the Things She Said by Tattoo. No. Of course, you chuckle to yourself, trying not to slip into a bad headspace. She chuckles along with you. Was that their song? Jessica's and Hula's? It's chilly outside, but soon enough you find yourself too invested in listening to the girl's voice to care about anything else. You realize you've been holding hands for a while. This looks like Berlin. Ugh. The subway car is empty, save for a stoic middle-aged couple and a drunk staring intently at his own feet. Plenty of room to stretch out. And yet, she sits right next to you. Well, she flirts with talking. Why would she sit like... Okay, Jesus. You can feel her thigh pressing into yours, her breath on the side of your neck. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the booze talking, but you distinctly hear your voice asking if she'd like to crash at your place. I've got a better idea, she says. At this point you're down for anything as long as it lets you spend just a few more minutes with her. She takes you to a sleazy motel in the Bronx, trading a few words with a balding, tired-looking guy at the front desk. He hands her a key, still holding your hand. The woman leads you up the stairs. The room you end up in is almost comically stereotypical, complete with flaking paint and a sticky floor. Not that it matters, though. The moment you step through the door, she's on you. You try to take the lead, but she's having none of it. Before you know it, you feel the rickety bat pressing against your back. It's sloppy, fun, fierce. And not once does she lose the initiative. Your hands reach under her t-shirt. Strange, it didn't look like she was cold outside, but now her skin feels eerily cool. As if sensing your confusion, she slaps your hands off of her. She kisses your neck. You are overwhelmed by the sensation. Darkness. The taste of liquid fire and smoke on your tongue. Her voice saying, "Sorry, kid. I did what I had to do to leave this city in one piece. But don't worry. With my blood and your principles, you're gonna do just fine." She slams the motel room door behind her as she leaves. You lie helpless on the soiled, pungent mattress for some time. Minutes? Hours? Before you can focus enough to try and piece together evening, it hits you. The big hunger. It grips you by the throat and makes your insides shrivel in terror. It's an all-encompassing emptiness that throws you on all fours. You crawl for a while, squirm on the floor in sundering pain, then jump to your feet and bust out the door. You black out. This isn't the room you saw when you last closed your eyes. Oh, there's someone in the bag! Somebody curses at you. A small, naked, buff dude holding a short leather whip. Okay. Wow, what a goofy motherfucker. He throws a punch. He yells out several slurs. He hits you in the jaw. You black out again. The guy isn't moving anymore. Oh, did I kill him? There's blood on his neck. There's blood on his arms. There's blood on the floor. There's blood everywhere. I should have sang that. Okay. Wow. Whoever did this is one sick puppy. Ah, we're one sick puppy. You realize you're sitting on top of his corpse. You hear a whimper. Someone else is there. A woman. Her arms are tied to the bed frame, an eye mask over her face. Red marks on her bag. Ah, come on. This time you see it happen. You want to stop, but you can't. She almost manages to get a scream out, but it dies in her throat as you bite into the side of her neck. You drink. Blood. You're drinking blood. I feel a little bit like Garth Marenghi here. You could swear you feel her life force escaping her body, entering yours. Suddenly terrified, you tear away from her. She's not moving, but she's breathing. There's barely a mark on her neck. The guy on the floor, though. Ooh. You double over in a spasm, realizing what you did. You feel like throwing up, but you can only gag. Panic sets in as another realization dawns on you. Your heart is not beating. You put 2 fingers to your wrists, but feel no pulse. Same thing on the neck. Nothing. There's no breath coming out of your mouth. You have to get out. Get someone to call an ambulance, for yourself at least. Probably too late for the dude on the floor. Did you really kill him? Tusk. What a mess. I wanted to say tisk, 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 but I... Okay, sorry. You look up. The door to the room is ajar. A tall, handsome, broad-shouldered man fills the entire frame. He brushes an imaginary speck of dirt off his perfectly tailored suit. Oh, this is fun. What will we say? Okay, I'm gonna... First of all, I'm gonna play it like myself. So I won't be a certain character or be a total douchebag. So I will not, even though it's super funny, will not say this is not what it looks like, because it totally is. I will do this. Hey man, you gotta help me. Call 911. So that you get arrested and reported as a... No, I'm really bad with voices and keeping them, so I have to think of this one. So that you get arrested and reported as a jail suicide within the next 24 hours? Because that's the only way that plays out, son. Yeah, I'm not good with voices, sorry. He surveys the room, not moving an inch from where he's standing. He shakes his head in mock concern. Murder us all, that's 25 to life if you're lucky. But since you're not, it's a death sentence. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Lucky for you, it's been a slow night. Otherwise, I might not have gotten here in time. Come on, the sun comes up in a few hours. You don't want to be around here when it does. Yeah, well, the sun? What's it matter when the sun comes up? Nah, so you don't even know. You should be glad I got here before you made yourselves scarce. The man approaches you and starts talking. His tone remains unnaturally calm. Oddly enough, you find it both soothing and slightly unnerving. Now listen to me. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you, and going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones, the punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission, the troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. Doesn't really matter though, you know, like, if a piece of me reaches the destination but I'm dead, or I'm dead before I reach the like that doesn't matter to me. But yeah, go off, stranger. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. Okay. It's my one true weakness, one that inspired me to come up with this 3-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of a theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. How rude. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes and you're out. Say, I understand, sir, now. You've never been too eager to bend the knee to anyone, but this is something else. The man's very presence instills a primal fear in your heart. I understand, sir. Glad we have an understanding. Moving on. Is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright. He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Ugh. Hula's not very smart, is he? I mean, I don't know. Someone closest to you. Lie out your ass. What? What does that even mean? I don't really want to drag Jessica into this, but apparently I'm that kind of asshole, so... Jessica, my ex-girlfriend. She kinda hates my guts, but yeah, I suppose it would be her. The stranger gives you a puzzled look and decides to prod further. The closest person in your life hates your guts. This time, something resembling a look of pity. He turns his eyes to the corpse on the floor. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Well, if you'd like to ruin her day and let her know you're alright, give me a phone number. I'll have someone take care of it. Discreetly, of course. What does that even mean? Will they kill her? You hand him your smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this point on, you're subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both, you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation and stares deep into your eyes. So unless you want your girlfriend to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. I mean, of course, I should have lied my ass out. He proudly displays his fangs again. You've put Jess in danger. God damn it. Yeah, well. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. His words are meant to imply otherwise, but by now it's obvious he hates your guts as much as you hate his. He's itching for a fight, and you're almost willing to oblige. Alright, I think that's enough lecturing for today. We're on a bit of a schedule here. Now, I don't need to hurt you, but I can do so in the blink of an eye. Yeah, we get it, big tough man. Just so that we're clear, I have the authority to end you right here, right now. This is not an idle threat. So are you going to play along, or do we have to do it the hard way? Follow the stranger out. Hey, I'm a sensible person. You weigh your chances, but it doesn't look promising. The guy's fit, determined, and looks like he means business. You, on the other hand, are confused, exhausted, and on the verge of a panic attack. Yeah, fine. I'll go with you. He almost looks disappointed. A wise decision. Follow me, please, and close the door behind you. You take one final look at the woman who's just coming to, at the body on the ground. This is fucked. Absolutely fucked. You pull the handle and close the door. The man leads you downstairs. You contemplate signaling the bald guy at the front desk, but he's too busy watching some 90s action flick on a small, ancient-looking TV. He seems totally oblivious to your presence. You hear dejected Jean-Claude Van Damme say, "I just want to go home," as you're walking by. Your would-be kidnapper stops by the door and addresses you before opening it. I know what you're thinking, and you're thinking as soon as he opens the door, I'm making a run for it. Maybe I can outrun him. I'll save you the trouble. You can't. You can either get inside my car and I get you to where you need to be, or you can try something stupid that you'll regret later. Do I make myself clear? Why don't you turn me in? Why don't you just turn me in? Sorry, I always want to read but that's, yeah. Because no one would benefit from that. And besides, I have my orders. He opens the door and gestures to a black Cadillac Escalade parked right outside the building. After you. Following the stranger's instructions, you make your way to the car and get in the passenger seat. The door locks behind you. Inside, the Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets in the driver's seat, starts the engine and drives away without another word. Who the hell are you, anyway? I'm the ferryman, here to take you to the other side. He weighs his next words carefully. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not in the mood to wax poetic about the state you're in or my role in tonight's events. Just remember, if you want to survive the next 24 hours, you'll have to play along. This is all a fucking nightmare. The stranger smirks. Understand that this is for your own good. Times being what they are, you should consider yourself lucky. You drive in silence for about 20 more minutes. As exhaustion catches up with you, the streetlights fade into a blur. Eventually the car stops and the door is open. You emerge from your dreamlike state and find yourself in some kind of underground parking garage. You two are the only ones here. The man points to a nearby door. Go in, make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room, no windows, just a simple bed and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC fan in the wall. This is all kinds of fucked up. Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Just know one thing. Remember when I said you were lucky? I meant it. See, my job is to get rid of problems, but I'm not always this polite about it. This time, I was specifically told to mind my manners. So believe me when I tell you, considering how this night could have turned out, being stuck in here for a night is a really good deal. Now get in or I'll throw you in. You step inside, the stranger nods. I'm sorry for being so boring, but this is actually how I would deal with this. We don't even know what's going on, and he seems to have the answers, so why should I run away? Like, I might find out what the hell is happening through him. You step inside, the stranger nods. Good night. He closes the door behind you. It looks sturdy, but as he's locking it, you notice claw marks all over. Looks like some previous guests were unsatisfied with their stay. Yeah, there's a cage. Maybe that's for the people who didn't wanna... You decide not to dwell on it and check the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid, no label. Tomato soup? Hula. What are you doing, Hula? This is ridiculous. You feel sick to your stomach. Best to leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. You can't help but think it looks exactly like the one back at the hotel with the bound woman. Oh right, you killed a man tonight. Or did you? Maybe none of this is real. Maybe it's all an elaborate prank. The girl at the club, Jess might have put her up to it. They tall guys clearly in on it too. Now he's back with them and they're all laughing their asses off. You don't know what to think anymore. Your mind races, but you're too tired to keep it going. Finally, you tense up one last time before drifting away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. Oh wow. Okay. Just wanted to check. I can read all the logs. That's cool. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. That makes the 24 hours that will be tough quite easy, right? Only 7 left. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? Where did Hula grew up that they have no concept of the undead or vampires? I mean, it's not like if that would happen to me, I would totally 100% believe that I'm a vampire now, but it would pop up in my mind. Like, you know, just even if it's in jest, even if it's like, I'm not breathing anymore, I don't have a pulse. Maybe I'm a vampire. I would, of course, I would think, you know, maybe I'm dead and this is me, like a ghost. This is maybe limbo or whatever. But I wouldn't be like, what is happening? What happened? Okay, continuing. You're not sure about that, but you're certain about one thing. You're hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. Well, let's get the tomato soup, I guess. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge, the bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Tomato soup. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bag tomato soup. No, it's blood. Sorry. The smell is faint and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Let's do this! It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland. Reminds you of the cheap supermarket juice. Just enough flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had the last time. Oh, is it pig's blood or something like that? You swallow it. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way, you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more zips and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually you find that you've emptied it entirely. All. You look at the info pressed into the side of the bag. 450 milliliter of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxication high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? A vampire, Hula! You've become a vampire, obviously. You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tamed hawk, maybe. I don't think that's it. If a hawk is relaxed, it's just that the hawk has fed, right? It's not that they are tamed. Like, oh well. Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Can I just play the game and just say this is fucked up over and over again? Is that an option? That would be so funny. Was that really... Type RH0. Not that easy to get. Glad you liked it. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the crammed room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it politely, but with a stern look on his face. I'm trusting you here, man. I'm touched. Sincerely. You take the back seat again. The doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming in the car engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked alright. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. There's no glass here. I can see right through. Huh. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. We already been there. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York. That much is certain. Queens, maybe. After me. No sudden movements, please. You approach a nice-looking building that houses a 2-story gallery called the Art Hole. Ew. 2 large men in suits flank the door on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger guiding you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. It is empty! Well, about 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite. Unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. The last time you felt like this was at your previous job interview. It was like being a piece of livestock inspected from all sides for any imperfection, so your wage could be haggled down. It was dehumanizing and made you feel dirty. When they called you the next day to offer you the job, you declined. Even when you're a nobody, you become even less if you trade away your dignity for a paycheck. Oh well, whatever. Payment is payment. The memory makes you feel warmer inside even now, although the state of your bank account never did. Good evening, Kadir. And to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you, being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helena Panhard, child of Michaela. Thank you, my sheriff, but I'm capable of introducing myself. She's somewhat plain-looking. What? It doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm. What? But still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. I remain silent. You decide it's best to stay silent and listen to the whole situation unfold. It feels like you're out of your depth here, yeah. Shall we begin? You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. I wonder whether the woman that bit me was the secret apex vampire that was addressed at the beginning. Not the one that was talking, but the one that was being addressed. And that was one of her jobs, going against the rules. Just, you know. The hunger made him savage, a prostitute and his client in a Bronx brothel belonging to one of the ministry. I have already spoken to Sansarique about this and made sure to blow over. Regarding the fledgling himself, surprisingly enough, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. Again, a pleasant departure from my usual routine. His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house, we had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. Ugh, it's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she? You wonder. Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there's the matter of your sire. The person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? A feisty woman. A Latina woman, very radical. Unless she convincingly lied to me, she was special, extraordinary. She had fire, conviction, temper. She seduced me, easily, in fact. Made me think she wanted me. I fell for it and now I'm here. It feels awkward talking to a room full of strangers about what seemed like a random one-night stand at the time. Not to mention that even though the Latina made an impression on you for sure, her face is already fading from your mind. Like, always saying the Latina, that feels super racist. Like, is Hula racist? Because, I don't know, isn't it enough to say the woman? I don't know. That makes me uncomfortable, quite honestly. You realize she never even told you her name. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not, or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. It might be because, given that that person from the beginning hasn't been to New York very often in the last 15 years, she might not be known in the New Yorker circles. No. I will not get her into trouble. I told about her because she left me, so, you know, shame on you, but I will not try to get her caught because, you know, maybe if she's like a radical leftist, then I don't want to get her into more trouble. Well, that's as much as you're getting out of me. What now? Now it's time to decide your fate, fledgling. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. Sorry, I hate this kind of language, so that will be... I'm ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my council on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir, we all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight, after all. I know, she probably sounds a lot sexier in your head, but that's what she sounds like in my head. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with a woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault, but if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? God damn it. Did we really pick... Is that with every character we pick? Like, are they all that thick? Hula, don't embarrass us here in front of the vampires, okay? This is... Oh, God. I'm not with him, okay? Oh yes, I'm well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. Not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. Well, you also don't have the right thickness, Hula. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. Yeah, putting it together, Sherlock? A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I have to stop soon, because my voice, it really is exhausting. I'm not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. So, let me get this straight. You make me your servant in exchange for my life? That's the deal? If you insist on putting it in such pedestrian terms, yes, that is the deal, as you so eloquently put it. The alternative is, I fear, final death at the hands of Kadir. Here, tonight. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict asked to be spared, I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I've made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our ire. I do feel a genuine sorry for what must be done. We are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our very existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully sharp-tailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. Isn't he fond of us? Aw, Kadir, you shouldn't have. And he's out to bet. You will not get another chance to speak up. You make your choice. I'm not going down like this, damn it, spare me! Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting a response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward, all eyes on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a hushed, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence! I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until the progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I'm willing to guide this fledgling and add valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Give me a chance to prove myself. No. Its clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death, or second death apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. I mean, honestly, if I would say, let me prove myself, who knows how you prove yourself? Like, kill 10 innocent kids, you know? I don't know, go into the hospital wing and suck a few babies dry. I don't want to prove myself. Let's just, you know, smoothly sail through this and then see how we can get out of this situation. The prince looks at you as if you're weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known. Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I'm to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla. Substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley? Of course, Prince. Thank you. Are we really the leftist Antifa section with the rose? I can't remember whether it was the rose or whether it was like, the artists. But we'll see. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Sorry, it's so funny to see my name there. Hula, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla. Hula. Oh, dictionary updated. The Camarilla, a major sect of vampires devoted primarily to maintaining the masquerade through influence and manipulation of mortal society. Alrighty. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. A newly created vampire. Yeah, well, we knew that. Thank you, but no thank you. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties? Of course, Prince. Ooh. The vampires claim a given expanse of domain as their own, generally a city, and supports that claim against all others. The term can refer to a kindred of either sex. So Prince is a mayor, basically. It's like, you know. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. Yeah, because he's totally into me. You will be judged, and if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. I hope there's romance options. Ooh! Well, Hula, I think we both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours it into two tall glasses. It's blood again, that much is clear. You're in two minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. The hunger. I will post in the liner notes a cool, super cool song by Beth Lashes, which is also from her The Lost Girls album, which is a concept album about vampires in the 80s. Wow! The urge to feed. For vampires, the hunger replaces all other drives with its own powerful call. I really urge you to listen to that song. It's so cool. It's inspired by the Lost Boys and everything, like those. And also, what's the other very famous 80s vampire movie? Something with dark, I think. And this album is so cool. It is so cool. And The Hunger is an amazing song. So yeah, I post that. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. So, there's certain... I don't know if it's certain people or blood types that are tastier than others. Oh, I wonder what my blood would be in the vampire world. Probably something like the cheap soft coke version. You know, you get in the discounter. That's really disgusting. That's my blood. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You've never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think New York City caterers have a very bourgeois idea about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. I want to kind of stop this episode right here because we've been through our first adventure. We turned into a vampire. Ho-ho! We survived the first 24 hours with our dear friend Kadir, and we didn't get killed by the council. We met the prince, and we got rescued by Sophie. So I will... How do I do this, by the way? Ah, okay, cool. So let's end this episode here, and then in the next episode we can talk to Sophie about, you know, beverages, like food. That's a good small talk topic also to get to know each other, you know. I wonder whether vampires are like humans, where you're saying like, I hate Brussels sprouts, and then it's like, I hate blood type B, it's so disgusting. And then someone else is like, well, you should, you know, how was it prepared when you eat it? Maybe you should roast it, then it's so much tastier. And you're like, no, I actually really don't like it. Yeah, so far I'm really having fun. It is really straining for my voice though. And I know visual novels are like super long, so this will also be, I think, spread out. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's amazing. I'm so intrigued. I'm so interested. This is so fun. This is so cheesy and kind of weird. I hope you enjoy it as well. If you do, like this video, follow my channel, comment, you know, no spoilers please, but comment on if you know the tabletop game Vampire Masquerade, you can talk about that, or yeah, on theories or whatever. Other cool vampire songs are also very welcome. Have a wonderful day. Auf Wiedersehen. Take care. Bye 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 bye.